Okay, time to throw some kit together. What have I got? D810, fancy cannon strap, 24-70, not too interesting. This one's a little bit more interesting. Fuji X100 T, not the new one. No, not bigger sensor, but it's fun, and a lot of the stuff I'm using recently has been taken with this little guy. A lot of bang for the buck. Okay, leaf filter system, weighs a ton. I mean, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. Main one I'm excited to use is the circular polarizer. You guys have probably seen these, not too glamorous, but definitely makes a difference. Let's chuck him in. Now, he's got 2 adapter rings. One for the 24-70, and a second one for the wide angle. There's a 16-35 on the D750, which I'm being filmed on, which I might steal and swap over if it comes to it. Okay, no flash kit, no batteries. Probably don't want the Pikachu camera. I got a lavalier mic, which I might use. I don't know what the audio like. I'm using a Rode shotgun mic at the moment, and can't seem to get it to work too well. But let's see if it gives me better sound than the camera. Cheap Chinese D810 trigger. Not gonna take him because he weighs a ton and it's really, really windy outside. I'm gonna take this tripod plate off them though, because that's very important. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm going to be using a tripod much, but it's good to take it with me. Okay, spare nickel batteries. Let's have a look. Yeah, one EN-EL15 for the D810. Right then, I've got that all in this nice waterproof or sort of splash-proof case. So that should do alright. Chuck a rain cover on it. Let's go. I'm starting in Rock and I'm heading round the coast. I'm not being too adventurous. I'm heading for Trevose Head. There's a lighthouse, there's a cove, there's some rocks. Not quite sure what I'm going to find. The wind's pretty strong and there might be some spray kicking up, but I'm willing to give it a go. It's not too long a drive. I mean, the crow flies, it's only a couple of miles, but I've got to go all the way around. I mean, this is the only bridge over this estuary, so it's a fairly long route. I'm going to take this map with me, but I'm going to have to rely on my memory because I'm not going to be getting this out whilst I'm driving. So I'm just thinking over the bypass, and I've got that fork, and then from here I guess I just aim towards the sea. I'll find it eventually. Let's give it a go. So this is my first time doing the sort of Top Gear style camera in the passenger seat gig, and I gotta say it's quite intimidating. I kind of look left, I'm checking for traffic or whatever, just seeing the big wide angle lens right in my face. I'll pull over at some point and take a quick picture. I've got the Fuji up in the front seat, so I can show you what I'm dealing with. These cars aren't really made to do more than about 50 miles an hour. And this is the only stretch of dual carriageway this car ever goes on. See if I can get it up to 60. So my shot list for today is there's a lighthouse, there are some rocks slightly out to sea, which might make a kind of a nice trail out to the horizon. Not sure, but tentatively considering using some neutral density wackiness. Might do a long exposure. There's a cave, but I'm assuming it's inaccessible. My brief look across the estuary made it quite clear that the tide is in at the moment. So the Cornish landscape is it's not particularly colourful, particularly this time of year. There's a lot of greens, a lot of browns, and you get interesting hues in the rocks. I'm not the most qualified geologist, in that I hold no qualifications at all. But I do think that it's volcanic rock, because it has that kind of shininess to it that you lose in some of the sandstone and stuff on the south coast. I know they call it the Jurassic Coast, and that I think is the same as the Scottish, sort of, you know, the Outer Hebrides, that kind of rugged, jagged even coastline. I think you get something similar here. So I'm up on the tip of Trevose Head. I've got my lighthouse over here, and there's some pretty impressive looking swell rolling in on the beach. Now the windscreen doesn't look like there's too much rain falling on it, but if you look at the back of the car, there's a bit of a storm going on. So I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to be going out in it. I'm pretty sure the D810 will be able to handle it, but the Fuji definitely won't be. Won't be up for the task. Yeah, look at this wind. I don't know how much of the movement is my hands and how much of the movement is the car getting buffeted by the wind. I'm using VR at the moment, so it should be pretty stable. So it's quite a view, but I definitely won't be able to use a tripod. The wind, guys, it's so strong that I could hear some rocks that are blowing across this car park and slamming into the wheels of the car. You can hear the thud. Alright, that wasn't working out because of the wind. It's so strong that it sort of fills your mouth and it starts to get the words out. I've got the lighthouse over here, but I'm not sure if it's going to be too interesting in perspective if I go and stand at the foot of it. So what I'm going to do, if we take a little look over the parapet, I'm going to walk out to the end of this head, this outcrop, and see if I can shoot from there back across.
At this point it became pretty clear that the audio from the on-camera microphone was not going to be adequate. I'd been using a Rode video mic, and unfortunately the dead cat, the wind muffler, had flown off. I saw it go, and it must have gone 100 feet over the edge of the cliff, straight into the sea. I couldn't tell from where I was sitting, but I was quite close to the edge, and climbing back from here actually got pretty hairy. You can see I've got the one camera around my neck and the other one on a monopod held in front of me. So I didn't exactly want to have to drop down and go on my hands and knees. And at one point I fell to my side and lay down. Waited for one of the bigger squalls to pass. I walked back up from here towards the car, and actually I chose to drop off both the Nikons and just take the Fuji. It's not weather sealed, but I could leave it in an inside pocket, and it let me walk around without having to give up use of my hands and also fear for my kit at the same time. I was only over at the lighthouse for 15 minutes or so. It wasn't too long a walk, and I took 2 frames on the Fuji, just a pretty classic centralized shot of the lighthouse, and one looking back over to where I was before. I left feeling a bit let down. I mean, I was expecting to spend a day out and get several photos, but getting home, I wasn't too unhappy with the results. Let's take a look at some photos. So this is the image I took on the Nikon before heading back to the car. I gave a lot of weight to the sky in this, just to show the patterns in the clouds. I think this was probably taken at the wide end of my 24-70. A lot of the pictures I take in Cornwall show it in its sort of sunny summer state, so it's quite nice to give it the balance of a stormier winter shot. I also like the sense of scale it gives to the lighthouse. It's quite a tall building, but from here, and shot with a wide angle, it looks almost dwarfed by the cliff it sits on. So here's the second image I shot. This is after I've dropped my DSLRs off. I walked over with the Fuji to the bluff, the hill above the lighthouse, and took this simple composition looking straight out to sea. I like the way that the sky and water are differing shades of blue, and also the way that the central lighthouse breaks it up. I thought about aligning it so that the windows were in the centre, but the way that the bulb at the top is offset towards the left gives the windows being on the right a little bit of balance. I don't know, I liked it. I guess what I found out was that even if the weather's not the best, it's worth giving it a go. I mean, I'm back home now, I'm warm, none of my kit's broken. I'd say it was worth it. Take the risk, just don't get too close to the edge.